जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी। यमुना तीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन। यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna, we welcome all the devotees. We are discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter number 4, titled The Process of Creation. and shloka kramank, shloka number 20 for discussion today. So kindly repeat after me. Shriya Patir Yagyapati Prajapatir Dhyam Patir Lokapatir Dharapati Patir Gatas Chandaka Vrishni Satvatam Prasidatam me Bhagavan Satam Pati Shriya Patir Yagyapati Prajapatir Dhyam Patir Lokapatir Dharapati Patir Gatis Chandaka Vrishni Satvatam Prasidatam me Bhagavan Satam Pati Shriya Patir Yagyapati Prajapati Dhyam Patir Lokapatir Dharapati Patir Gatis Chandaka Vrishni Satvatam Prasidatam me Bhagavan Satam Pati
Patir Yagyapati Prajapati Yam Patir Lokapatir Dharmapati
Patir Gatis Chandaka Vrishni Satvatam Prasidatam me Bhagavan Satam Pati Shriya Patir Yagyapati Prajapatir Dhyam Patir Lokapatir Dharapati Patir Gatis Chandaka Vrishni Satvatam Prasidatam me Bhagavan Satam Pati. Shriya Patir Yagyapati Prajapatir Dhyam Patir Lokapatir Dharapati Patir Gatis Chandaka Vrishni Satvatam Mataji's. Shriya Patir Yagyapati Prajapatir Dhyam Patir Lokapatir Dharapati Patir Gatis Chandaka Vrishni Satvatam Prasidatam me Bhagavan Satam Pati Shriya Patir Yagyapati Prajapatir Dhyam Patir Lokapatir Dharapati Patir Gatis Chandaka Vrishni Satvatam Prasidatam me Bhagavan Satam Pati Shriya Patir Yagyapati Prajapatir Dhyam Patir Lokapatir Dharapati Patir Gatis Chandaka Vrishni Satvatam Prasidatam me Bhagavan Satam Pati. We'll see the word-to-word translation purport. by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Prabhupada.
So kindly repeat after me. Shriyaha, all opulence. Pati, the owner. Yajna, of sacrifice. Pati, the director. Prajapati, the leader of all living entities. Dhyam, of intelligence. Pati, the master. Lokapati, the proprietor of all planets. Dhara, earth. Pati, the supreme. Pati, head. Gati, destination. Cha, also. Andhaka, one of the kings of the Yadu dynasty. Vrishni, the first king of the Yadu dynasty. Satvatam, the Yadus. Prasidatam, be merciful. It is may upon me. Bhagavan, Lord Shri Krishna. Satam, of all devotees. Pati, the Lord. Translation. May Lord Shri Krishna, who is the worshipable Lord of all devotees, the protector and glory of all the kings like Andhaka and Vrishni of the Yadu dynasty, the husband of all goddesses of fortune, the director of all sacrifices, and therefore the leader of all living entities, the controller of all intelligence, the proprietor of all planets, spiritual and material, and the supreme incarnation on the earth, the supreme all in all, be merciful upon me. Purport. Since Shukdev Goswami is one of the prominent Gata Vyalikas, so this Gata Vyalika word is a reference to the previous shloka. In the previous shloka, he mentioned that those who are free from envy, Krishna reveals himself to them. So that's why Prabhupada is taking that reference. Since Shukdev Goswami is one of the prominent Gata Vyalikas who are freed from all misconceptions, he therefore expresses his own realized perception of Lord Shri Krishna as being the sum total of all perfection, the personality of Godhead. Everyone is seeking the favor of the goddess of fortune, but people do not know that Lord Shri Krishna is the beloved husband of all goddesses of fortune. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that the Lord, in his transcendental abode, Golok Vrindavan, is accustomed to herding the Surabhi cows and is served there by hundreds of thousands of goddesses of fortune. All these goddesses of fortune are manifestations of his transcendental pleasure potency, Lahadini Shakti, in his internal energy. And when the Lord manifested himself on this earth, he partially displayed the activities of his pleasure potency in his Rasa Leela just to attract the conditioned souls who are all after the phantasmagoria, pleasure potency in degraded sex enjoyment. The pure devotees of the Lord like Shukdev Goswami, who was completely detached from the abominable sex life of the material world, discuss this act of the Lord's pleasure potency certainly not in relation to sex, but to relish a transcendental taste inconceivable to the mundaners who are after sex life. Sex life in the mundane world is the root cause of being conditioned by the shackles of illusion. And certainly Shukdev Goswami was never interested in the sex life of the mundane world. Nor does the manifestation of the Lord's pleasure potency have any connection with such degraded things. Lord Chaitanya was a strict sannyasi, so much so that he did not allow any woman to come near him, not even to bow down and offer respects. He never even heard the prayers of the Devadasis offered in the temple of Jagannath, because a sannyasi is forbidden to hear songs sung by the fair sex. Yet, even in the rigid position of a sannyasi, he recommended the mode of worship preferred by the gopis of Vrindavan as the topmost loving service possible to be rendered to the Lord. And Srimati Radharani is the principal head of all such goddesses of fortune, and therefore she is the pleasure counterpart of the Lord and is non-different from Krishna. So there were three words: Shriya Pati, Yagya Pati, and Prajapati. So this part of the purport was related to Shriya Pati. Now the next part is connected to Yagya Pati. In the Vedic rituals, there are recommendations for performing different types of sacrifice in order to achieve the greatest benefit in life. Such benedictions as the results of performing great sacrifices are, after all, favors given by the goddess of fortune. And the Lord, being the husband or lover of the goddess of fortune, is factually the Lord of all sacrifices also. He is the final enjoyer of all kinds of yagya. Therefore, Yagyapati is another name of Lord Vishnu. It is recommended in the Bhagavad Gita that everything be done for the Yagyapati, Yagyarthat Karmano. For otherwise, one's acts will be the cause of conditioning by the law of material nature. Those who are not freed from all misconceptions, Vyalikam, perform sacrifices to please the minor demigods, but the devotees of the Lord know very well that Lord Sri Krishna is the supreme enjoyer of all performances of sacrifice. Therefore, they perform the Sankirtan Yagya, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, which is especially recommended in this age of Kali. In Kali Yuga, performance of other types of sacrifice is not feasible due to insufficient arrangements and inexpert priesthood. Now the next part is related to Prajapati. We have information from the Bhagavad Gita 3.10 and 11 that Lord Brahma, after giving rebirth to the conditioned souls within the universe, instructed them to perform sacrifices and to lead a prosperous life. With such sacrificial performances, the conditioned souls will never be in difficulty in keeping body and soul together. Ultimately, they can purify their existence. They will find natural promotion into spiritual existence, the real identity of the living being. A conditioned soul should never give up the practice of sacrifice, charity, and austerity in any circumstances. The aim of all such sacrifices is to please the Yagyapati, the personality of Godhead. Therefore, the Lord is also Prajapati. According to the Katha Upanishad, the one Lord is the leader of innumerable living entities. The living entities are maintained by the Lord. Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadhati Kaman. The Lord is therefore called the Supreme Bhuta Bhrit, or maintainer of all living entities. So today I am expected to cover only this part of the purport, and then tomorrow or Tuesday they will cover the rest of the part. So before speaking on this shloka, I'd like to offer my respects, my prayers, and my humble obeisances to all of you also seated here, the listeners. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So thank you all for coming for this Sunday class. So in this shloka, we can see this word Pati repeated many times. And sometimes those who are locals of India, they have heard this word Pati in Hindi or Marathi language. And there's a particular meaning associated with the word Pati. But what I did is I listed down all the meanings of the word Pati that Prabhupada has given in the translation. So in the context of Shriya Pati, Prabhupada is saying the word Pati means owner. So please remember this. In the context of Yagyapati, Prabhupada is saying the word Pati means director. In the context of Prajapati, Prabhupada is saying the word Pati means the leader. Dhiyam Pati, the word Pati means master. Lokapati, in this context, the word Pati means proprietor. In the context of Dharapati, Prabhupada is saying the word Pati means supreme. And then the last line mentioned, Patir Gatis Cha Andhaka Vrishni Satavatam. There, the word Pati means head. And in the last line, it is mentioned Satam Pati. So there, the word Pati, Prabhupada is translating as Lord. So Pati word here is mentioned as owner, director, leader, master, proprietor, supreme, head, and Lord. 8 different meanings given of the same word. So how fortunate we are that we are not only getting the literal meaning of this word, but the contextual meaning of this word. So first, we should offer our respects to Srila Prabhupada that it takes a lot of understanding and it takes a lot of cultural sensitivity and also compassion for the Kali Yuga souls to present 8 different meanings of the same word and to make it relevant for the masses. I think it was Bhurijan Prabhu who mentions this, that one time one scholar came to Srila Prabhupada, and scholars like to discuss about languages. So he asked Prabhupada, so what languages are you proficient in? And Prabhupada said English, Hindi, and Bengali. And then the secretary of Prabhupada was sitting there and he was thinking, what about Sanskrit? The whole Bhagavatam, the Gita, and all is in Sanskrit. So Prabhupada, Sanskrit? Then Prabhupada thought for a while and then he said, no, I am not proficient in Sanskrit. So somebody who's in a very humble way saying he's not proficient in Sanskrit has been able to give us 8 different meanings of the word in relation to the particular word next to it. So when I read all these 8 words, basically, I'm thinking that Srimad Bhagavatam is giving us this understanding. And in this shloka, is the word Krishna there? Actually, the word Krishna is not there. This section starts with Parikshit Maharaj. He asks question to Shukdev Goswami. Can you please tell me how does the Lord create the phenomenal universe, which is actually inconceivable even to the great demigods? And in answer to that, Shukdev Goswami wants to present the process of creation, but before beginning the description of the process of creation of the universe, which is inconceivable to the mighty demigods, Shukdev Goswami is offering prayers. Please, oh my dear Lord, I am going to speak about your inconceivable power to create the universe. So please be pleased upon me. And then from shloka number 12 till here, there are a series of shlokas where Shukdev Goswami is offering prayers. So this is just trying to earn the qualification to speak about how the Lord creates the universes. So one after another he says, Tasmai Subhadra Shravase Namo Nama. Oh please, my dear Lord, please, Yad Ikshatam, Yad Shrunavatam, Yad Smaranam, by remembering whom, by seeing whom, by understanding whom, by hearing about whom you get purified, to that Lord I offer my obeisances, and so on. So I was checking from shloka number 12 to shloka number 19, in none of those shlokas the word Lord Krishna is mentioned. So all those shlokas could also be applied to Lord Vishnu or to Lord Narayan. But Srila Prabhupada in all the shlokas, right from 12 to 20, always writes there, "Oh dear Lord Krishna, oh dear Lord Krishna, oh dear Lord Krishna." And then in shloka number 20 here also, again, directly the word Krishna is not mentioned, but it is mentioned how? Andhaka, Satvatam and Vrishni. So these are dynasties of Yadu Kul. So before here, there was no mention of any dynasty. It was just the power of Krishna, power of the Lord. So there was no need to mention directly Lord Krishna. But here at least it is mentioned. Andhaka, there is one dynasty. Vrishni is one dynasty. One of the names of Krishna is Varshneya. In the Gita it comes. So that is why here it makes sense. So why is Srila Prabhupada taking us directly to Krishna? Because actually that is the original goal of the Srimad Bhagavatam. How does the Srimad Bhagavatam start? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And then the first shloka, Janmadhyaseta, and ends with Satyam Param Dhimahi. So those who chant the Gayatri mantra, they know that, Dhimahi. Dhimahi means I am deeply meditating. And so Shukdev Goswami in one sense is starting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a long compilation of 18,000 shlokas with a Gayatri mantra, which means Shukdev Goswami is speaking the Srimad Bhagavatam not from his intelligence, but he's speaking it in his absorption, in his deep meditation. How did Vyasa Rishi write the Srimad Bhagavatam? He said, actually, when he was told by Narad Muni, you have not done justice till now you write the Srimad Bhagavatam. Actually, he touched the water of Saraswati and then he deeply meditated in his own mind, and in his absorption he has written the Srimad Bhagavatam. Shukdev Goswami in his absorption is writing. So every single shloka of the Bhagavatam, actually if we really want to understand it, we should not understand the Srimad Bhagavatam with our intelligence. We have to understand it in a deep absorbed condition. One time, one of our senior devotees in the Brahmacharya ashram, he was asking certain questions to His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj about the 10th canto. Some of the questions probably he asked are, I was not there in that conversation, but sometimes it is mentioned that Maharaj Ugrasen in Dwarka, he had 10 billion bodyguards. So now 10 billion bodyguards is a huge number. So how is it possible like that? And then His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj answered that actually the whole Bhagavatam, even if you want to ask questions, you can ask questions in this way logically till the first 9 cantos. How can Ambarish Maharaj rule in such a way? Swargona prarthito, yes, it is mentioned, Ambarish Maharaj's kingdom, the residents, they did not even want the heavenly planets. Why? Because they were constantly accustomed to hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord. They were so satisfied, they did not want the Swargaloka, which is usually desired by the earthly beings. So Maharaj mentioned, if you want to ask such logical questions, you can ask questions till the 9 cantos. But 10th canto is basically for relishing, is basically for absorbing yourself there. So if Shukdev Goswami, Vyas Rishi and all the acharyas are saying the Srimad Bhagavatam is basically not a book to analyze, the Srimad Bhagavatam is, especially the 10th canto, is a book to be relished. So then Prabhupada, right from the first shloka, is guiding us in that direction. It's not even about Lord Narayan, it's not even about Lord Vishnu, it is about Lord Krishna. So if you look at these 8 meanings of the word Pati, owner, director, leader, master, proprietor, supreme head and Lord. I'm just trying to present an analogy here that this is like a movie in which the producer, the first word is owner. So I'm comparing it to the producer. The producer is one person. And then the Yagyapati is director. The director is the same person. And Prajapati is leader. The hero of that movie is also the same person. And then is Dhiyampati is master. So he is the person around whom the whole story will revolve. Proprietor, everything in that movie actually belongs originally to him only. Are we coming closer to the concept of Leela? That Leela is basically the same person, Krishna, and then he is orchestrating a pastime. Actually, nobody can hurt him, nobody can chastise him, nobody can envy him. But when Krishna comes to this world, then how does it happen? He appears to take birth in a certain family. And then he appears to have a mother, he appears to have a father. And we are celebrating Kartik Maas. So one of the names of Lord Krishna is Mukunda. And right there in the Damodar Leela, just after he is bound up, he sets Nalkuvar and Manigriva free. So Muktim Dadati iti Mukunda. All over the world, whether it is Gajendra, whether it is Prahlad, what is happening is devotees are being tormented, and then Lord Vishnu comes and he gives them freedom from those troubles. And if somebody wants freedom from birth, old age, that also he gives, right? So he is Mukti dene wale Bhagwan hai. And then what happens in Kartik Maas? In Kartik Maas, that person who is famous as Mukunda, who's freely distributing mukti to everyone, gets bound up by his mother. And it's very interesting that just in case any one of us feels, or just see, at least there is one story in which Krishna forgot his divinity. So now, at least in that story, he is an ordinary person. Then Krishna says, wait for some shlokas ahead. And in that bound up condition, with that ukhal behind him, just in case we thought that the ukhal was too heavy for him, and then that's why it was chosen to bind Krishna, he drags the ukhal along and then takes it in between the two trees, which are Arjuna trees. And in general, Arjuna trees are supposed to be very deeply rooted. Amongst all the trees, Arjuna trees, they develop their roots very strong. So Shukdev Goswami and the Leelas are arranged in such a way, the Leela Shakti is arranging in such a way, every small detail is worked upon. Of all the trees, why Arjuna trees? Because Arjuna trees are the most deeply rooted. And then Krishna takes the ukhal in between the Arjuna trees and pulls them, and the two Arjuna trees fall down, and Nalkuvar and Manigriva are liberated. Again, their mukti is there. But in what condition? Krishna is able to give mukti to Nalkuvar and Manigriva when he himself is bound up. So all of us also have this beautiful opportunity that we may be bound up by our lust, anger, greed, envy, pride. But if we take the order of His divine grace and His servants, we could distribute mukti even though we ourselves are bound up. So Krishna in that Leela is telling us, all of us, we don't have to wait to become pure, to become preachers. We don't have to become fully clean to distribute the message of cleanliness. We can be contaminated, but just by being instruments in the hands of Lord Nityanand and his servants, we can also set others free. And by their blessings, probably when they become free and they go to the spiritual world and they are asked, how did you come here? Then they say, you see that person who's still in the conditioned state in the material world, he is the one who gave me a book. He is the one who spoke a class, and that's why I'm here. So probably by their recommendation, we'll also get some mercy, and then there is a chance to go back. So all of us, we can try to distribute books, not considering our own disqualifications. So we'll come back to this movie concept. In this movie, everything revolves around Krishna. Krishna Leela revolves around Krishna. And this is actually the message of the Srimad Bhagavatam. All of us are also part of a movie. And in the movie of my life, who's the producer? Who tries to arrange the situations? I try to arrange the situation. And how do I want my life to happen? I want my life to go in a certain way. So I am the director of the movie of my life. And I know the answer, but still I would like to ask this question. Who's the hero of the movie of my life? So all of us, okay, I'll say most of us, I can't put that claim on all of us. But at least, okay, few of us, I'll say, in a humble way. Few of us are busy making a movie. And in the movie of our lives, the producer is us. The director of that movie is us. We want certain things to happen in a certain way. We want this person to speak to me in this way, right? I'm proposing something, you better say yes. And certain people, why are they talking to me like this? Why is this person not behaving with me like this? We have all these expectations from people. So basically that's a script. A director has a script for every actor. And then he says, at the right time, you speak these dialogues. So in the movie of my life, I am trying to be the producer. I am trying to be the director. Of course, the third question which I asked, the hero has to be the neighbor, right? Now, who's the hero of the movie of my life? Me. And I would like to own everything that I see. So Julius Caesar, something that is mentioned about him is wherever he went, in Roman language, it is mentioned, Veni Vidi Vici. Veni Vidi Vici means he came, he saw, he conquered. So, that applies to every single one of us. Wherever we go, I came, I saw, I conquered. Kar lo duniya muthi mein. So, actually, all of us are trying to run a movie in which we are trying to replace the main character, the main producer, the main director, the main master, and all of the original movie. So, this material world is a facility given to us to try to run a movie in which we see ourselves as the hero and we want the movie to go in a particular direction, but actually, this movie is supposed to be with Krishna in the center. Because Krishna is actually Pati. And in the purport, Prabhupada is mentioning how everyone is seeking the favors of the goddess of fortune. In the 8th canto, if you see, in the Samudra Manthan Leela, when Lakshmi Devi appears after the Samudra Manthan, then all the devatas are there, all the rishis, munis, and all the asuras are also there. And everyone is looking expectantly at Lakshmi Devi. And then there is a very nice series of verses where Lakshmi Devi says, she was looking for a perfect husband. And then she looks at somebody and says, he is wise, but he is not renounced. Wise person should be renounced because everything is temporary in the material world. So then she rejected him. Then she looked at somebody who is very much renounced. But then that person was not eternal. He had a temporary life. So she rejected him. Then there was somebody who was eternal. No, he was beautiful, but he was not intelligent. There was somebody who was intelligent, but not renounced, and so on. So there is a long series of shlokas where Lakshmi Devi glances upon all the leaders who are present there and keeps checking them and evaluating them. And at the end, she sees Madhav, she sees Krishna, and she says, he's wise also, he's beautiful also, he's famous also, and he's renounced also. So all the qualifications that she was looking for, they were there in Krishna. And that's why I'm saying that actually the original movie should have Krishna as the main person. And that is the whole purpose of the Srimad Bhagavatam, trying to tell us, my dear sir, please do not try to play a movie in which you are playing the central role. Please try to participate in the movie in which Krishna is the... So that is why the Srimad Bhagavatam, right from the first shloka, and Prabhupada also, right from the first purport, is telling us Lord Krishna, Lord Krishna, Lord Krishna. If you see the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavad Gita is a message from the same Lord Krishna. But when a gentleman speaks about himself, he finds it difficult to glorify himself. So if you see the Bhagavad Gita, then Lord Krishna, in a very, in one sense, he is feeling shy. So how many shlokas are there in the Gita where Krishna talks about himself? Or he speaks directly to Arjun that you surrender to me. Can you think about a few shlokas? Man manabhav mad bhakto, aham sarvasya prabho. And then you compare the shlokas where Krishna mentions about leading a life that is based on principles, or trying to educate Arjun about sambandha gyan. So if you check, there are very few shlokas where Krishna speaks very directly. And in one sense, Krishna in the Gita, because it is not part of the Srimad Bhagavatam, has to play that neutral role. A father has to be accommodative to all his children. So Krishna as the Supreme Father is being accommodative to people who have karma tendency. Krishna has to be kind to people who have a jnana tendency, people who have dhyana tendency. So the first chapter of the Gita, which describes the process to attain him, is Karma Yoga, 3rd chapter. 4th chapter is Jnana Yoga. 6th chapter is Dhyana Yoga. And where is Bhakti Yoga then? So the 12th chapter. Because most people in this world are fruitive. Most people in this world are used to this concept of, how can I get rewards? You tell me how to get rewards. How to get profit? I'll do it, I'll earn profit. So business mentality. Most people are in this mentality. Few out of them understand the futility of having this business mentality with God. And if God is giving already before asking, why should I have a business mentality with him? So then they go to the jnana part. And then few of them will actually start seeking the Lord in the heart. So karma is highest, then is jnana, then is dhyana. And very, very few out of them will be actually interested in bhakti. So Krishna, when he is playing the part of a father in the Gita, Then he's giving so much importance to karma yoga. So it's a huge chapter on karma, huge chapter on jnana. Dhyana is 47 shlokas. I think third chapter is 42 shlokas. And fourth chapter is 42 or 43. I think 42. Third chapter I'm not able to recollect, but fourth chapter is 42 and sixth chapter is 47 shlokas. And how many shlokas is 12th chapter Bhakti Yoga? 20. In that 20 shlokas also, the first 7 shlokas are about the personalism part being greater than the impersonalism. Klesho, adhiktaras tesham and all that. And the middle part, 8 to 12, is actually about bhakti. And the last 13 to 20, again 8 shlokas, is about the qualities of a devotee. So, even though Krishna is trying to push bhakti, yad karoshi yadashnasi is for the karmis. And what is the last shloka of 6th chapter? Yoginam api sarvesham mad gate nantara. So of all the yogis, the highest is who constantly remembers me and serves me in his heart. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, you do it for me. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate. So of all the jnanis, the real jnani, after many, many births, achieves me. Vasudeva sarvam iti samadma. So actually, after speaking a lot about karma yoga, he speaks about the glories, about how final karma yoga is to surrender everything to Krishna. After speaking at length about jnana yoga, finally he says, Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate. Surrender is the actual fruit of jnana. And yoginam abhisarva, after speaking 46 shlokas about dhyana yoga, finally he says, the real fruit is to serve me in the heart constantly. So he's pushing for bhakti yoga, but he cannot give extra emphasis on bhakti yoga. But what about Prabhupada? If you see the purports of the Gita, many times Prabhupada explains the Gita shlokas with the help of Bhagavatam shlokas. So I checked in the Bhagavad Gita as early as 2.61. Second chapter, shloka number 61, is the first shloka in the Gita where Krishna says directly, he introduced the concept of you have to fight this war for me. Because he says, Tani sarvani samyamya yukta asita matpara. Vashehi yasya indriyani tasya pragya pratishtita. So first time he uses the word mam. Till 2.60, it is all about, it is your duty, and you are a kshatriya and this and that. But 2. Tani sarvani samya, you regulate your senses, yukta asita matpara. So you should fight this war not as a duty, not because you're a kshatriya and this and that. Actually, you should fight this war for me. And immediately, that is the first place where a Bhagavatam shloka is quoted by Prabhupada in the purport. It's too early, actually. And you know what is the shloka that he quotes? Savai manaha Krishna padara vindayo. Ambarish Maharaj is at the topmost position of bhakti, where he offers his mind at the feet of the Lord, his hands, karau tat mandira marjanadishu. He's a king, but he is wiping the floor of the temple. He uses his legs to travel to the temple. He uses his sense of smelling to smell the tulsi that is offered to the lotus feet of the Lord. In this way, his eyes to see the deity of the Lord, his sense of touch to embrace the devotees of the Lord. So that shloka, that is such a high description. How Ambarish Maharaj is such a pure devotee. That description of Ambarish Maharaj, Prabhupada puts in 2.61, and as early as the 2nd chapter, Karma Yoga has not even started. Jnana Yoga has not even started. Dhyana Yoga is far away. Bhakti Yoga is 10 chapters away. But right there in 2.61, Prabhupada says, actually the real fruit of everything is to engage our mind, our eyes, our nose, our ears, our sense of touch, our sense of tongue, all in the service of the Lord. So this is the mood of the acharyas, that they don't want us to spend a lot of time going through all the scriptures and then coming to the conclusion. What Narad Muni told Vyas Rishi after he wrote all the Vedic scriptures, even before we have read the 2 chapters of the Gita perfectly, Prabhupada is giving to us. So the whole focus of Vyas Rishi, the whole focus of Shukdev Goswami, the whole focus of Srila Prabhupada is to stop, help us convince the movie which we are trying to play in our own hearts and trying to tell us, as long as you try to put yourself in the center, just look at your life. Actually, all of us have understood that there is a lot of frustration in trying to be the enjoyer. There is a lot of frustration in trying to control people. There is a lot of frustration and sometimes anger in trying to control situations, because situations, till a certain point, they go in a certain way as we predict, and then suddenly we don't know what, the situation goes in another direction. And people whom we try to control, we feel this person is very predictable. And now he'll act in this way, and now he'll act in this way, and now he'll act in this way. And suddenly you realize that person is acting in a totally unpredictable way. Then you understand, what happened to my script? And what happened? I said, you better behave in this way, okay? You listen to me. So then, the whole, so 50% job is done by Maya Devi, who's trying to frustrate us whenever we try to be the director, producer, hero and all in our movie. And 50% a positive job is being done by Srila Prabhupada and the Srimad Bhagavatam in trying to tell us, not just to tell us that, just see, realize you're frustrated, they're actually trying to tell us what is the solution to that. So our movie, although it is frustrating to us, we cannot give it up. You know why? Because it is very absorbing. There's always that attempt. If not today, tomorrow life is going to obey me. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is actually the original hero of the movie, is Lord Krishna. So seeing the unlimited, repeated, but futile attempts of us trying to be the director, the producer, and the hero of our movie, the actual hero of that movie came into this world. And you know what he told us? He told us, see how I enjoy in this world. All of you are frustrated in this world, but I'll tell you how to enjoy in this world. Just see who I am. What was Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doing when he was in this world? Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never played the role of the enjoyer. Actually, Lord Chaitanya played the role of the devotee. So the main character will have some brother, sister. Any hero in any movie will have brother, sister, father, mother, lover, and relatives, and this and that, right? So Lord Chaitanya, actually he should be in the central role as Lord Krishna. But just to teach us, what did he do? He became a devotee of the Lord. And then he is telling us, if you want, there are 5 primary rasas available. Any one of you wants to be in the Shantaras, then you can be the admirer in the movie. So sometimes, I'm just giving you an example. You go to a movie and there is a king who is sitting and there's somebody next to him, he's just fanning him. There are no dialogues there. Seen महाभारत रामायण टेलीविजन सीरियल तो राजा जब आते हैं सुनो 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 राजा आ रहे हैं उतना ही काम है उसका so शांतरस and then there is somebody in दास्य रस somebody will come and say राजा आपके लिए ऐसा है and all that, right? I have not watched the commercial movies for some time, so I'm not giving those examples, but I remember Ramayana, Mahabharat, like that is. And then some brother will come and some father will tell ऐसा मत करना ये गलत है and like that, and the wife, or if it is a queen, then the husband, yes. So the 5 rasas are available. So Lord Chaitanya is saying, do you want to enjoy in this world? Just do one thing. Movie is not a problem. But don't try to do the Pati. Don't try to do the main person. Have a relationship as the servant of the main person. You have a lot of space in that movie. Actually, in this material world movie, there is a limitation of resources. But actually in Krishna's movie, there is unlimited. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki. So Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ka space hai. And all of us sitting in the material world here can get accommodated in any of those rasas. So all of us have to choose, do I want to be a silent admirer of Krishna? No problem. Just be there on the side and just keep looking at Krishna. How beautiful he is, how intelligent he is, how smart he is, how caring he is. If you want to be a servant of Krishna, you can go and massage his feet. If you want to be a parent of Krishna, you can be in Vatsalya Ras, like all the elderly gopis in Vrindavan. If you want to be in Sakhya Ras, then all the gopas in Vrindavan, they are dancing, jumping, sometimes putting their hands around Krishna. If you want to be in the Madhurya Ras, you can be one of the gopis. So all these rasas are available, but what is the condition? Of supreme highest pleasure to be available to all of us limited jivas in the material world, while staying in the material world. If all of us want the highest pleasure, what is the condition? Don't try to be in the center of the movie. Just be on the side of the movie. And that is the greatest challenge for all of us. Yes? Because we want to be in the center of the movie. The whole bhakti process, the entire Srimad Bhagavatam is telling us, just look at all the devotees in the Srimad Bhagavatam, how they were tormented, how they were troubled. But all of them, they were always chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. if they just chanted, they remembered, they served, and they did whatever they could, little bit, they could get happiness in the material world also. And of course, that led to the doors of liberation opening for them. So, in today's shloka, in the purport, Prabhupada is mentioning how Lord Krishna is Shriya Pati, and Shriya Pati Prabhupada is taking it as he is the husband of the goddess of fortune, and then he takes the discussion to Rasa Leela, and he says how the dealings of Lord Krishna with the gopis were actually not anything to do with the mundane understanding of bodily attraction that we are usually accustomed to, but actually it is the highest reciprocation of love between the gopis and Krishna. It's a spiritual affair. And the proof that he says is, if Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was such a strict sannyasi, if Shukdev Goswami was a liberated soul right in the womb of his mother even before he took birth, why would they glorify the Rasa Leela? It means it is pure. So we'll take some discussion on these points. In the 7th canto, 1st chapter, shloka number 30, Yudhishthir Maharaj is asking some questions about the Supreme Lord to Narad Muni. And Narad Muni mentions something. Narad Muni says, Kama dveshad bhayat snehat yatha bhakteshvare manah aveshya tad agham hitva bahavas tad gatim gataha. Translation. Many persons have attained liberation simply by thinking of Krishna with great attention and giving up sinful activities. This great attention may be due to lusty desires, kamad, inimical feelings, dveshat, fear, bhayat, affection, snehat, or devotional service. So all of us can choose. I shall now explain how one receives Krishna's mercy simply by concentrating one's mind upon him. And then he mentions how even Shishupal, out of intense enmity for Krishna, achieved liberation. So he's saying Krishna is so kind. But all of us are given a recommendation by our acharyas that actually we should do anukul bhakti, that we should never get into an inimical feeling with Krishna. Just imagine if somebody you hurt and that person is ready to give you liberation. What will he give if you love him? If you hit somebody with something and that person rewards you, what if will happen if you go and massage his legs? So Putana is given Yatu dhani api sa swargam avap jananim gatim Krishna bhukta stanak shira kim u gavo na matara. Shukdev Goswami is also trying to analyze that Putana tried to kill and avapa jananim gatim. She got the position of a janani. So then Krishna bhukta stanak shira, the cows and the mothers of Vrindavan who willfully fed their milk to Krishna, what will he give to them? So this is to inspire us never to have a inimical feeling with Krishna, always to have a favorable feeling with Krishna. So in the Rasa Leela, I'll just condense it. Krishna plays his flute, all the gopis are there in their homes, they hear that and they are thinking they want to go, but some of them are serving prasad to their family members, some of them are feeding their children, some of them are cooking, and as soon as they hear the sound of the flute, they can feel Krishna is calling, and it is mentioned the gopis who were cooking, they stopped their cooking. The gopis who were taking care of their babies, they stopped taking care of the babies. So, sarva dharman parityaja. All the duties that every one of us has, actually they were being followed by the gopis, but they gave it up, and without telling anybody, in a very soft way, they left for the forest. Some of them were actually noticed and they were stopped. Where are you going in the middle of the night? And they did not pay attention to it and they ran away, and they knew that they will never be allowed back into their homes. Some of them were not only stopped, they were bolted. The door was closed. And these gopis, it is described, they left their bodies. Because they had to reciprocate with Krishna's call. So they left their bodies, and in the spiritual way, they went and associated with Krishna. So not a single gopi could resist the call of Krishna. They went there and they started a dance with Krishna. And during that dance, Krishna expanded himself. So one Krishna for every gopi. And then all the gopis felt, we are so fortunate that I have my own Krishna. And there's so many other gopis also there. So there was a little bit of pride there. So Krishna left their association. Now all of us should understand that gopis being such pure devotees that they are practicing sarva dharman parityaja, is there a possibility that they can develop pride? Krishna educates you and me, the conditioned souls, with the help of those who are surrendered to him. So never ever think that the gopis were proud. It is to tell us the ill effects of pride. That when gopis are getting the association of Krishna and they feel that Krishna is with me and that is making them proud, Krishna disappeared from them. So all of us, if any chance we advance to a situation and we feel I am superior to the rest of the devotees, then Krishna will leave us. And that's why Trinad Api Sunichena is very important. So Krishna left, then all these gopis suddenly understood Krishna is not there, and then they started searching for Krishna. And in that assembly, they saw two sets of footprints. So two sets of footprints means then they analyze, one set of footprint was Krishna's footprints, but the other set must be some gopi. So who's that fortunate gopi? Then they are searching for them. So then they are following these two sets of footprints. After some time, there was only one set of footprint. It means Krishna lifted that gopi in his own hands. So how fortunate is that gopi? And then those footprints went deep. So it seemed that, when you're standing on your toes to take some flowers, that kind of deep impressions were seen. So then they realized not only that gopi is with Krishna, not only Krishna has lifted that gopi, but now Krishna is trying to pick flowers to decorate the gopi. What is the position of this gopi? So who's that gopi? Anaya Aradhita Nunam. So who's that gopi? She is the gopi who has worshipped in the best possible way Krishna. So she is Radhika, Srimati Radharani. And then after some time, they go into the area of the... So they're searching for Krishna. And they enter into the deepest area of the forest where even the moonlight cannot touch the sky. It is so densely with foliage and with all trees and shrubs and creepers and all that. And in that part, they meet Radharani. And then she says that actually I was with Krishna, but at one point of time, Krishna left me also. So now what to do? So then all these gopis, instead of feeling, oh, he was with us, then he left us, then he was with you, then he left you also. So it means, the mundane emotions. One thing leads to another, but actually all these gopis, they're so spiritual, they're so pure. All of them, they joined their hands and they said, if Krishna is not there with us, at least let us remember what Krishna has done. And right from Putana, Vad, Aghasur Vad, all the stories that have mentioned in the Bhagavatam, the Gopikas started performing. One Gopi became Yashoda, one Gopi became Krishna, and Damodar Leela happened. One Gopi became Putana, and one Gopi became Krishna, and the killing of Putana happened. So they started enacting the pastimes of Krishna. And while enacting the pastimes of Krishna, they're calling out to Krishna. Jayati tedhikam janmana vraja shayata indira shashvadatrahi. So right in the first shloka they mention that, oh dear Krishna, you are so amazing and you are so great that Janmana Vraja, just because you have taken birth in Vraja, Indira, the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi, is trying to seek her residence here. It means they know who Krishna is. Although we feel that the gopis don't know, actually the gopis are very, very intelligent. And so many references in the Gopi Gita come where they make a direct indication that they know he is Lord Vishnu, he is the Supreme Lord. But even though they are in full awareness that Lord Krishna is not Nandanandan, he is actually the Supreme Lord, he is not just a cowherd boy. But the special quality of the gopis is their love for Krishna somehow overpowers their awareness of Krishna's supremacy. And one time, Vishwarup Prabhu, he was giving a class and he gave an explanation of this. He said sometimes in Vrindavan, if you're there and there is so much cold and fog, in Vrindavan Yatra also we have seen there's always fog. So fog means basically moisture. So he was saying sometimes we are trying to light a lamp and you take a matchstick and you light it. But that matchstick will light, but there is so much moisture in the environment that it extinguishes the fire. And no matter how much you do, it will not. So you have to first heat it up a little bit and then you have to create friction first and you make it dry. And then you light a matchstick. So he was saying similarly, Actually, there is knowledge of Krishna's Aishwarya in Vrindavan, but there is so much madhurya there, there is so much love and affection for there that that madhurya overpowers the Aishwarya. So the gopis know all this and they're singing songs. And then Krishna appears in front of them. And then Krishna says, I disappeared from your vision, but I did not go far away. Actually, I was behind this tree. When they were dancing together and they were glorifying Krishna together without any envy for each other and catching each other's hands, Krishna was watching them from a distance from behind a tree. And then Krishna comes there. And then they say, Krishna, we have some questions for you. They say, there are some people in this world who are very reciprocative. If you do good to them, they'll do good to you. If you misbehave with them, they'll misbehave with you. And then there are some people in this world who are kind of, I would say, non-reciprocative. Or sometimes they are atma-tripta. So somebody who's atma-tripta has nothing to do with what you do to me. If you do good to me, I don't change. If you do bad to me, I don't change. And there's some non-reciprocative people also. If you do good to me, basically ungrateful. I won't reciprocate with it. And then he says, so there are some people who will do good no matter what you do. So there are three kinds of people. So now, after getting the association of Krishna, why is this philosophical discussion happening that there are three kinds of people and one category of people is like this? Actually, the indication is to Krishna, which category are you in? But civilized people, they never talk straight. They, because, see, asking a question to somebody is itself a sign of distrust. Where were you? It means I'm distrusting him. So how they want to know, why are you behaving in such a cruel manner with us, even though we have given up all our duties and we have risked our entire life for you? So are you non-reciprocative? It does not seem like that. You're such a kind-hearted person. You cannot be non-reciprocative, but you behave like this. So they give these three categories of people and the indication. Now you tell us. You know what Krishna says? Krishna says, actually, whatever I did because I wanted to glorify you. Gold shines only when it is put into fire. A diamond shines when it is polished. And that act of polishing is very harsh on the diamond. But if you want to give multiple cuts to the diamond, you would actually have to scrub it and hard. Yes, is it not? And gold also shines more. There is 18 karat gold available in the market. There is 22 karat gold available in the market and 24 karat gold available. What is the difference? 24 karat is basically 99.96% pure. And 22 karat gold is something like 85 or something. And 18 karat is less than that. So it's all gold. But 18 karat, there already, isme impurity hai, itna chamkega nahi, but the cost is less. So you get the satisfaction of wearing gold, but it's not the highest shining gold. So Krishna is saying, you're already gold. But I wanted to make you shine more and more, and you passed the test. Why? Because when I went away from you, you did not criticize me. You did not say, how can he do this to me? Actually, you all came together without envy for each other, catching each other's hands. And in that situation, with cooperation for each other and not having envy for each other, you remembered me, you sang my glories. So this is what I wanted to show to the whole world, that just look at these gopis. These gopis practiced not man manabhav mad bhakto. They did not practice yad karoshi yad ashnasi. They practiced sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. So Krishna is speaking this shloka in Kurukshetra, but he says, aham sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. In Kurukshetra, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he remembers the gopis because he's speaking the principle of the highest surrender. Sarva, not adharman parityajya. It is sarva dharman. A gentleman is sarva adharman parityajya, but a pure devotee is much beyond a gentleman. It is not sarva adharman parityajya, it is sarva dharman parityajya. And as he's guiding Arjun in the Bhagavad Gita, in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he remembers the high position of the gopis, and instead of using any other word, he says, Mam ekam sharanam vraja. And then he says, Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shucha. So, in this way, Krishna then mentions that why I enacted this whole thing is to glorify you. And then again there is a second Ras Leela dance. And in that dance, Krishna gives them a feeling. Krishna gives them an experience that actually it was just one night. And our one night is maybe 8 hours or something, yes? Krishna gave them an experience of Lord Brahma's night. So what is Lord Brahma's night? It is 1000 Chatur Yuga. Kali Yuga is 4,32,000 years and so on. So Chatur Yuga is 43,20,000 years. 1000 Chatur Yugas is that much span of time. That is Brahmaji's day, and that is Sahasra Yuga Paryantam Arhadyat Brahmano Vidu. So Sahasra, 1000 Chatur Yugas is the time, and that one night on earthly planet is actually maybe 7 or 8 hours, and that Ras Leela. But Krishna, because he wanted to reciprocate with this pure cooperation amongst devotees and the surrender to Krishna, he gave them an experience of one night of Lord Brahma. And after dancing for one night of Brahma, Lord Krishna folds his hands and he says, let your glorious devotional service be worshipable. I cannot repay you in any way. And now I'm requesting you, you please go home. I cannot give anything to you. So Krishna in the Gita, he says, Ye yathamam prapadyante tams tathaiva. As you surrender to me, I will reward accordingly. But Krishna lied. Because he reciprocated, Ye yathamam prapadyante with everyone. With one set of devotees, the gopis, he fell short. So to prove Ye yathamam prapadyante, that Krishna remembered it, because Mattah smritir jnanam apohanam cha. He is the source of all smriti, so he remembers everything. In Damodar Leela, he feeds the monkeys. Why does he feed the monkeys personally? Well, he has smriti. He remembers in Ram Leela, all the monkeys did so much service for me and I could not reciprocate properly. So Krishna remembered, I could not repay the gopis properly. And that's why he comes as Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this time, he is in the mood of the gopis. In fact, he is in the mood of Srimati Radharani and is freely distributing the Madhurya Ras to all of us and telling us how the gopis of Vrindavan appear to be very simplistic. They are not simple, they are simplistic. But actually they are the most educated, they are the most civilized, they are the most advanced, and they are the most lovable of all Krishna's devotees. So this one story of Ras Leela is the purest story, because there is one place where Krishna says, sorry, I don't have anything to offer to you. But this is probably the most misunderstood pastime of Lord Krishna, and many foolish people not understanding this. One famous person in India, who's respected in India a lot at one point of time, he would publicly glorify the Bhagavad Gita also. And then in one public assembly when he was speaking, he was asked, you are glorifying the Bhagavad Gita so much, and this Krishna played Ras Leela with young girls in the middle of the night. Then he said, oh, I am really sorry for that. So because of lack of understanding, he felt sorry that the speaker of the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord who's worshipped in unlimited temples all over the world and who's in the hearts of Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda, this person is saying sorry. So he went into a mood of self-pity, or he is not able to justify it properly. But we are fortunate that Srila Prabhupada has given us books in which we can understand actually what is the mystery behind the Ras Leela. I'll quickly also speak about the second most misunderstood pastime, just to clarify and fill up, I don't want to leave anything untouched. The second pastime that is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is also probably most misunderstood, is the stealing of the garments of the gopis. And this also sometimes, in one Hindi picture, maybe 40, 50 years back, it was shown, one hero was sitting on the tree and the heroine was in the water, and then he was, trying to do the same thing. Yes. But it's very important for us as ISKCON devotees, Vaishnavas, to at least understand the essence of what is happening. We may not go into the details because of our disqualification. But I'll tell you something. This is 22nd chapter of the 10th canto. And how does it start? The first shloka is, Hemante prathame masi nanda vraja kumari kaha cherur havisham bhunjana katyayani archana vratam. So it is mentioned, these girls were kumarika. Now, Kumara is 5 years age. So Kumarika is 5 years age. So Srila Jiva Goswami in Gopal Champu, he clarifies that actually in Vrindavan, there were two categories of young gopis. One were little bit of marriageable age, and all of them expressed the desire to marry Krishna. And Nanda Maharaj was also very happy that all these young girls want to marry Krishna. But this news also went to Vasudeva. And Vasudeva thought, if Krishna, my son Krishna, gets entangled in marrying so many young gopis in Vrindavan, then he'll never return to us. He will stay forever there. So Vasudeva wanted to foil that plan. Then Vasudeva caught hold of Garga Muni. And he told Garga Muni, you are a Brahman and all these Vrajvasis will definitely listen to you. So you have to go to Vraj. And you have to spread this news that if Krishna marries all these young gopis, then it will be a disastrous thing and you have to stop this. So Garg Muni did that duty. And then, marriages were arranged of these young gopis with their own husbands. So all these young gopis, actually they had a deep desire to marry Krishna, but because of Garga Muni's false propaganda, they were married to young boys in Vrindavan. There was another set of gopis who were like 5 years in age. Their bodies have not even become of that age, but still, they have an attraction for Krishna. Like all of us, we don't have any feelings for Krishna. We don't have any love for Krishna. But when we sit for chanting Hare Krishna, sometimes in some kirtan or maybe when some pure devotee is speaking katha, sometimes, just like you go to a social function and sometimes they sprinkle rose water. Yes? It's not a shower, but 1 or 2 drops fall on us. Have you experienced that? So sometimes when some pure devotee is speaking Krishna katha, somewhere in that class, or when some pure devotee is singing kirtan, somewhere in that kirtan, that small drop, it touches us and we feel pure. And then as soon as we walk out of the temple hall, then we are again back. Is it not? So similarly, these Kumarikas, they were actually young in age. And they were not actually of that age to have those kind of feelings for Krishna. But the whole talk and the whole atmosphere in Vrindavan amongst the young gopis is, we want Krishna as our husband. So they also developed that desire. And in the month of Margashirsh, Hemante, in Hemanta Ritu, Prathama Masi. So after Kartik comes Margashirsh. And one of our Acharya, Srinath Chakravarti, he mentions, in the Gita, Krishna says, Masanam Margashirshoham. Of all the months, I am Margashirsha month. So suddenly, he could have mentioned Kartik month, he could have mentioned Purushottam month. Is it not? That's what we worship. So why does Margashirsha come? So he says Margashirsha because this Chir Haran Leela happened in Margashirsha month. Just like Sarva Dharman Pariti is related to Vraja, that Margashirsha in Bhagavad Gita is related to this. So in Margashirsha month, on Pratipada, the first day, all these small girls, they decide, we will worship Katyayani. Katyayani means Yogamaya. So we will worship Katyayani for what? Later, they offer a prayer to Katyayani, which is mentioned by Shukdev Goswami. What does it say? Katyayani Mahamaye Mahayogini Adhishwari. They're glorifying Katyayani. Nanda Gopam Sutam Devi Patim Me Kurute Namaha. This is the mantra that they chanted. Nanda Gopa Sutam Devi Patim Me Kuru Namaha. They just chanted one mantra for the whole month of Margashirsha. My dear Katyayani, please give me Krishna as my husband. And what they would do? Early in the morning, they would leave and all these small girls, imagine they're going alone to the river. So, if you go to Vrindavan, the Chir Ghat, not the one that is next to that Kaliya Daha, the original Chir Ghat is actually far distance away. So why did they go that far distance away to that Chir Ghat? They're small girls. Because they did not want to be seen. Because people will ask, Subah subah tum choti ladki kahan ja rahe hai? Yeah. So then all these girls on Pratipada day, actually the previous night they could not even sleep because they were preparing for that. And as soon as the sunrise happened, all of these young girls, they started and they went to Yamuna. And in Margashirsha is basically, December month. What must be the temperature in December month in Yamuna, in Vrindavan? So all of us who have been to Kartik Yatra in Vrindavan, we know how, there's all kinds of socks and this and that, right? But all these young girls, they're so determined. Nanda Gopa Sutam Devi Patim Me Kurute Namaha. They want Krishna as their husband, so they want to do tapasya. So one understanding that we can get is, if we want Krishna in our life, we'll have to undergo some tapasya. And what they did is, during this 1 month, they ate Havishya. Havishya means, take some moong dal, take some rice, put some ghee there, put some banana there, no salt, no spices, no haldi, no namak, no nothing. Just cook it and eat it. That is called havisha. Why? Because it is purifying food. And unless you do that kind of bodily austerity, that body does not become pure. So with this bodily austerity and morning, early morning, all these young girls, they're going to Yamuna and they'll go there, they'll take a bath in the cold Yamuna water and they would make a murti with mud, Yamuna mud of Katyayani Devi, and offer in their own way some simple worship. They are not offering proper methods that are mentioned in the Vedas. They'll take some flowers, they'll take some incense, and they'll worship. And whole month they chanted this mantra, we just want Krishna as their husband. And for one whole month. So when Hemanta Rutu is advancing, will it become more and more colder? So imagine on the last day of this Margashirsha month, it is the coldest. But because they have done tapasya for one whole month and they are sincere in their heart, Krishna understood. So if we do tapasya, for us tapasya may not be 1 month, for us tapasya may be one lifetime. They are gopis, so they did for 1 month. Dhruv Maharaj did for 6 months, they got Krishna. So higher you are, the lesser you have to do. How much for us? You decide, depending on your own understanding of this. So stay put. Don't give up. Never say, Prabhu ji, मैं कब 4 महीने हो गए मैं 16 माला कर रहा हूँ कुछ लग ही नहीं रहा है. You know, that kind of sentences should be banned in ISKCON, right? We are here for lifetimes, Prabhus. You know, millions of lifetimes we have enjoyed in the movie, our own movie, and now we are shifting to Krishna movie. So it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of purification. So on the last day, Krishna came there. And then Krishna saw that these young girls are offering this mantra. So what Krishna did, in a very hidden way, they are all there in the water. He took their clothes and there was a Kadamba tree. He climbed on the Kadamba tree. And then there were some small friends also. Just like these girls were small, Kumarika, they were small. They don't understand anything. There are small boys also there. These boys started laughing. When you see some fun going on, you know, small boys, small girls, they start giggling. So this small boy started giggling. Inke kapde yahan the. And the Kanha took those clothes and he's on the top of the tree. Now what will happen to them? They are giggling. Ooh, like that. So that giggling noise went to the girls. And the girls are saying, hey, where are your clothes? And Krishna is there. So Krishna, what are you doing here? Because this bathing ghat, this place is a secret place. You know, females bathe separately and males are not supposed to come here. He said, actually, I didn't even know you were there. I was just walking by this path and I saw these long saris from the Kadamba tree and I was thinking, who has put these saris on top of the Kadamba tree? I came to check that actually. He said, have you ever heard that saris go on top of Kadamba tree? You're lying. He said, no, I'm not lying. So beautiful exchanges take place. And then Krishna says, okay, you know, if you want these saris, then you have to come out and take these saris from me. So they say, do you know what you're speaking? If you misbehave with us, we are going to tell this to the King Kamsa. Now, King Kamsa ka Krishna ke upar kya hone wala hai? So Krishna says, you go and tell Kamsa, no effect on me. It does not matter. So then slowly they understood we are trapped and we have to get those clothes from Krishna. So they said, okay, now what to do? They say, see, you have to come out and take these clothes yourself because time is going to pass. So, you know, a lot of time went in this interaction and they are staying in that cold water. It's freezing cold water. You can't stay in cold water for long. And Krishna has no problem, you know, giving a lot of excuses back and forth. And they are looking at the small boys giggling. So there is shame in their hearts. There is frustration in their hearts. But just like these gopis in Rasa Leela, they never ever spoilt their mood towards Krishna. These small girls, there was frustration that we are trapped. And there was little anger that why is this happening? But they never ever developed any kind of wrong feelings for Krishna. They trusted Krishna. And in that mood also they are remembering that we offered a prayer for Krishna to be our husband. So then they come out. So then, you know, I was listening to a lecture by His Holiness Bhakti Vigyan Maharaj. So he was mentioning, what they did is, they wanted to hide themselves. They don't have any clothes. So the youngest gopi, within all those young gopis, she's in the front. They push her in the front. And behind, because she has her hair now. So then the 2 gopis, behind one gopi, there will be 2 gopis. So her hair on the sides will hide the 2 gopis. And those 2 gopis will have their hair on the side. So behind them, 3 gopis will be there. So in that sense, all the other gopis were hidden. and only the front, the smallest, the youngest gopi was seen. So they also devised a way how to counteract the situation in such a way that they can protect themselves. But Krishna wants sarva. I didn't hear. Okay, you're still with me. Sarva dharman parityaja. That you have to give up all your large lajja like that, right? So Krishna says, no, not this way. You have to come in a single line. So then these are saying, oh no, he's really smart and he's really catching us. So then they say, okay. But then because they are without clothes, they are hiding the lower parts of their bodies. And then Krishna says, Sarva Nirman Paridya. So what to do? Then he says, see, you know what? Actually, you are bathing in the holy river of Yamuna. And you are doing all this to please Katyayani, Devata. Devi ko puja kar rahe hain aap. But how can you go into the river without clothes? So you have offended the Devatas. So it means now you have to raise your hands. They were covering the lower parts of their body with their hands. You have to raise your hands and you have to offer namaskars to the Devi because you offended the Devi. So at this point of time also, it is mentioned, when they heard that they have offended the Devatas by going naked and now they have to beg forgiveness by folding their hands. At that point also, their mood was so much fixed on getting Krishna as their husband, they felt, if we cover the lower parts of our body and we don't fold our hands, it means we have offended Devatas. And if we offended the Devatas, it means this puja went futile. So 1 month we did tapasya to get Krishna. And that whole puja is getting spoilt on the last day. So is our shame more important, or is the fruit of 1 month long Marga Shirsha Mas tapasya to get Krishna as our husband more important? So at that point of time, again, without any kind of negative feelings for Krishna, but again focusing on, I want Krishna, I want Krishna, I want Krishna. They fold their hands and they come out, and Krishna gives them, understands that intense moment. Krishna is understanding the purification that is happening in their hearts and how they are ready to pay the highest price to get Krishna. Krishna hands them over their clothes and then he says, because you have a desire to accept me as my husband, very soon your desires will be fulfilled. And these gopis then next year, because it's chapter number 22 and Rasa Leela happens in chapter number 32. So after some time, then next year, in the autumn month, in the Sharadiya Rasa Leela, all these gopis who expressed their desire, they were now a little younger, and this was Purva Rag. This is basically the sprouting of Madhurya, feelings for Krishna, and then they participate in the Rasa Leela. So there is no thing to be ashamed of, and there is nothing that we should be shy of, and that we should not, if somebody raises this topic of Chir Haran Leela and somebody raises the topic of Rasa Leela and we say, नहीं मुझे वो गीता के बारे में बोलो, ये सब मुझे मालूम नहीं. Just the basic facts we should know. There is nothing that happened there. It is just that they wanted Krishna as their husband, and Krishna arranged this whole story in such a way that he accepted their feelings as husband and then later reciprocated and gave them a chance to play Rasa Leela also with them. So this is Radha Krishna Leela. And the more we try to understand these pastimes as received from our acharyas, actually will be purified. When Rasa Leela is spoken by Shukdev Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj, at the end, Parikshit Maharaj asks a question. And Parikshit Maharaj says, actually, he says, Sa katham dharma setu nam vakta कर्ता अभिरक्षिता. धर्म का वक्ता कौन है? भगवान. कर्ता कौन है? धर्म का पालन कौन करता है? भगवान. अभिरक्षिता, who protects dharma? Krishna. So he says, स कथम धर्म सेतु नाम वक्ता कर्ता अभिरक्षिता प्रतिपम आचरत ब्रह्मन परदारा अभिमर्शनम. Pratipam means against. So the person who speaks dharma, the person who does dharma, the person who protects dharma, how could he act contrary? Paradara abhimarshanam. How could he dance with other people's wives? And in response to that, Shukdev Goswami speaks one very beautiful shloka which is very hope-giving for all of us, and we'll end with that. He says, Vikriditum varajavadubhir idam cha Vishnu shraddhanvito yad anushrunuyad athavarnayedya. He's saying, Vikriditum vrajavadubhir idam cha Vishnu. You asked about Krishna. I'm telling you, he's not an ordinary cowherd boy playing with ordinary cowherd girls. He's Vishnu. And he says, Shraddhanvito. If lot of Shraddha if faith that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, and if you have faith, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur mentions, faith that Krishna is the Supreme Lord and faith in Krishna's name. If these two things we have, we may be full of anarthas. But he says, Shraddhan vito anushrunuyad atha varnayedya. If you hear in parampara and atha varnayedya, if you repeat in parampara, then he says, Ridrogam ashu apahinoti achirena dhira. Ridrogam. All of us have a ridrog. There is a disease in the heart. What is that disease in the heart? Lust. He says, Bhaktim param bhagavati pratilabhya kamam ridrogam ashu apahinoti achirena dhira. Very soon, if you hear in the right mood, and if you do not have doubts about Krishna as a Supreme Lord, then the heart disease will be very achirena. It will be destroyed. So we are hearing in Parampara, we are describing what Shukdev Goswami has spoken, we are describing what Vishwanath Chakravarti and Srila Prabhupada has spoken, just to help us understand. Who's the hero in Rasa Leela? So 16 million gopis. And who's the hero? Krishna. So everywhere in Bhagavatam, in shloka number 12 to 20 of the second chapter of the fourth chapter of the second canto also, Krishna is not mentioned, but Prabhupada puts Krishna, Shukdev Goswami puts Krishna. So the whole Bhagavatam is helping us to understand the real hero. And especially this comes out in Rasa Leela. So if we understand the purity of Rasa Leela, if we understand the purity of how Krishna is the real enjoyer, then we will be peaceful. And in that peaceful state, we will not identify with the hero, but we will identify with the relatives of the hero. So all of us have to choose Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya or Madhurya. One of those four rasas we have to choose and enter into the eternal pastimes which are full of knowledge, bliss and eternity. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki Jai. Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. So one request personally from me, this December month is coming and Srila Prabhupada is requesting us to distribute his books to anyone we meet. I'll tell you my personal story, how I started. In my office when I was working, I carried 2 Bhagavad Gitas, one in English, 3, one in English, one Marathi and one Hindi. But I was a shy person. On my office desk, I just kept those 3 Gitas. Right from the first day of the December month. Because I was not aggressive trying to go and talk to people and convince them. And then people in my office would come and say, hey, Gita kyun rakhi hai? Then I would say, this is Gita Jayanti month. If you want, you can take. And then I distributed, that was my first attempt. I think I distributed 10 or 11 Bhagavad Gitas that month just by keeping them on the desk. So if any one of you, if any one of you is shy and you feel, Prabhu ji, aise naye logon ke paas jana, at least take one English, one Marathi, one Bhagavad Gita. If you are having Tamil people, take one Tamil, Telugu, whatever, right? Gujarati. Just keep it on your office desk. And I'm telling you, people are thirsty for this knowledge. People will come to you and say, ye Gita kyun rakhi? And you can tell them, take this Gita. And you can also tell them how to replace the real hero in their movie with the original hero. Yes? Thank you very much. Hari Bol.
जय श्री राधा गोपीनाथ भगवान की जय, श्री गौर भगवान की।